Good morning, everyone. I certainly hope we are live. I have had all sorts of interesting uh, challenges this morning. So, the first thing I need you to do is come in and comment, say hello. This is Think and Grow Rich. And today we're looking at the subconscious mind, one of the most amazing lessons that I teach. And I've been teaching Think and Grow Rich for 16 years, and here on LinkedIn the last couple of years on Friday mornings. So this week we're talking about the subconscious mind, and I'm going to scoot over here real quick to see. It appears that we're doing well, although I don't know if you can hear me. So I hope that you can hear me. So let's just make sure here. Everything looks good. So please come into the room and let me know if you can hear me. And I'm going to write a note here. Can hear me. Okay. So let's see what Rachel says because I can't tell if you can hear me. Can you hear? Yay. That's all I needed to know. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is like only my second or third week using StreamYard, and everything has worked perfectly. So, hi, Lisa and Rachel and Christine Feedy. I'm so glad you're here. This is such a juicy lesson. Yay. So glad. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know me, let me start off by saying to you, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All right. Is everybody ready for today? I'm so glad you're here. Hey, yay. So glad you're here. I've been doing these Think and Grow Rich trainings for, gosh, on LinkedIn every Friday morning to me. And I do a 12-week series, and sometimes we do stories. The whole idea of Think and Grow Rich is the number 2 bestseller, second only to the New Testament. And thousands of business owners have used these principles of success, move this over here, to build their businesses, particularly personal development grades. If you know this book like I do, I've been teaching it for 16 years, read it over 90 times, uh, studied it for 20,000 hours, and created my own hybrid program, of course, 16 years on top of my mentor, who was Bob Proctor, who was the world's leader in this book. And then he worked his whole life on top of Napoleon Hill's work. So that's how Proctor made his money. That's how most of the personal development greats alive today have followed this book before they tell you that. They like to think that they with all this. But the truth is, all of these programs are hybrid. And over the last 100 years, most of them from this book. And I got into it in 2008 when I, through a series of incidents, was moved toward this website. And it happened to be Proctor's site. Didn't know him other than from The Secret and the music that I heard in the sales presentation about what it would be like to be a consultant, coach, and do Think and Grow Rich masterminds and make lots of money. That part isn't true, but I've certainly paid back. I have done very well. The story that you're going to make lots of money really depends on how well you follow the 13 principles of success and how consistent you are and how dedicated you are. Because over the 16 years, and I've had 25 years in personal development and leadership and 45 in corporate. So what I tell you is that The key to all this is a process. And over the 16 years, I've developed my own hybrid process on top of Think and Grow Rich, on extrapolating more on Proctor. And now I have 10 books, 9 are nonfiction about this very subject. So when I fell into it, it was my first being faced with wanting to do something so much. I wanted to go to this training. It was 6 months from when I talked to the people there, and everything sounded great. They were gonna send me the book and an outline, and I was gonna have a mastermind. Then I was gonna fly to West Palm Beach to meet with people all over the world and become a consultant, etcetera. You know, I painted quite a picture, but I knew I wanted it. And so when I asked how much it was, the salesperson said $16,000. This was in 2007, and I was making 2,500 bucks a month. So immediately I knew that the money was not there. I was kind of like, I was going to this thing and I never paid attention to the money. I ignored the fact that I didn't have the money because I knew I couldn't do it, but I loaded everything I had, a deep, deep love for this idea. And I had already had 10 years in personal development, quantum physics, metaphysics, leadership development. I just love all that stuff. I mean, that's what's right. About 6 months after that, right before I was getting ready to go, I did start the mastermind. It wasn't 6 months, it was about 4. My ex-husband sent me a note and he said, Leslie, the company has sold off some stock and part of it is yours. I'm sending you a check for $20,000. I'm here to tell you that if you follow the process and you want it more than your fear of poverty or fear of criticism or fear of old age, whatever your fear is, if you want it more than, it will happen for you because the universe or God or spirit, however you look at this, we are co-creators and our universe wants us to succeed, has our back. It's the wind at our back. Just and what I've learned over the last 16 years is that 500 12-week goals have been set by my clients. They never knew. It's one of the laws of achievement. Pick something you want to do that's hard-set, you failed at it, or you've never done before. And I know that's counterintuitive, but that's what learning and growing in awareness is. So good morning, everybody. Let me just stop here for a second. I've done my pontification. Also been studying about Carl Jung. Oh, yes. I went through Jungian therapy. That's actually dream therapy, where when I was seeing a Jungian psychologist, and his best book, by the way, everybody, is Man and His Symbols. The minute you woke up, you had to write down your dreams. But that's what I remember from that. Oh, there's Terrence. Good morning, Terrence. Thank you for being here, wherever you are. I hope you have a blessed day and weekend. See, Gabe, so glad you learned so much from chapter 11. That's right. So with me, you don't have to read the chapters because I'm going to give you the lessons. After having done this for 62 business quarters and been teaching this over and over and writing about it for all this time, I know what rises to the top. So if you get into this book, like it's big, don't read the whole thing. In my 12-week course, which is coming up September 23rd, I consolidate much of the principles into simpler lessons. And then we repeat it because that's auto suggested. So let's see what else is here. Oh, there's Elizabeth. Elizabeth's calling in from Rhode Island. She's a hypnotist and also a nurse. And there is Lisa Fevick, who is a registered dietitian and has a wonderful audio room every other a week that focuses on what you're eating and how you can manage menopause. Well, for those women who don't have menopause, still gotten there, or men who only have male menopause, which is a little different, right? Lisa tells you what foods will help alleviate the over 100 symptoms of menopause. I'm sure I had at least 90 of them, at least. But her advice is good anyway about health and wellness. And here's Rachel. Um, Rachel is part of a book launch that I'm working with, a trilogy of a LinkedIn love affair. There are 3 books that Nicole Angai Galindo is managing and publishing, and she's part of this. And here's beautiful Christine Feedy. It is a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. Okay, ready? So that gives you an idea, a little bit about me and the value. Now, I have people come, and the training I do allows you to achieve any goal you want that you don't know how to do. Now, if it's $1 million in 2 weeks, it cannot violate the rights of other people. So while you don't know how, I'm not going to send you to do something negative. Rachel's compliance, right? So anything you want. Now, typically I do 12 weeks, and I've done it over 62 times with hundreds and hundreds of people, learning how to understand and apply it in your business now. This was written 100 years ago. The reality is we've learned a lot more, and it's work. And these principles are not, they're in all the books over the last 5,000 years that we've been recording history that we know of. And yet, Napoleon Hill synthesized most all of those principles in this. So what we're going to do today is going to be so much fun. So if you're ready to roll, if you have any questions, insights, remember that if people come in after, including yourself, and do team replay, then not only are they going to get what I'm saying, but they're also going to get your insights, which makes it a richer replay for yourself and for anyone else. And they're housed on my personal profile all in a row, so you can enjoy it anytime you want. And let's go ahead and get started. And let me see how I get this. Interesting. Okay. Okay. See if I can make this bigger. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is good. This is good. Oh, let me see. I can take you off, Christine. One time I had you there the whole time. There we go. I had someone there the whole time. And my face was down here, and I blocked my own face. But I had just moved to StreamYard, so it's a little different. Okay, so just to give you a quick rundown, we're all the way up to the subconscious mind, and there are 13 principles of success. And we won't do them all here. I will collapse together many of them. But the most important thing for you to understand, if you're going to learn and follow this process, which has made many, many hundreds of thousands of millionaires, really only 1 or 2 out of 100 or 200 ever do this, because we're impatient, because of our subconscious mind, which we're going to get into today. And this is fun. I have to tell you that Napoleon Hill didn't know a whole lot about the subconscious mind. He knew something, but boy, over the last 100 years, Proctor figured some things out. A lot of people have. So what I'm going to teach you is more of a nuance. And the whole purpose of your understanding this is because we think in pictures. And that's why images are so important, because not only are you getting them intellectually through your 5 senses, or you're getting it through your hearing, but you're also getting it through your vision. And you also have a certain sensing. And by the way, if anything doesn't feel comfortable to you, it's not, you may be confused. It's okay to be confused. It takes us a while to get certain concepts. So be patient with yourself. Don't hang on to anything that you don't understand. Just move on to the next. Because I promise you it's going to come back up again, and you're going to get it in a bigger and better way. You just weren't ready. We learn and grow in conscious awareness in increments when we're ready. So, the train, like, this is the whistle stop tour, Think and Grow Rich. The very first thing is in the introduction. It's not even one of the 13 principles of success, but without it, you might as well just toss the rest of it out. Don't bother. If you're willing to do this one thing before you begin, you won't be able to implement the principle. And that's why we make such a big deal. I make such a big deal. It's definite purpose, a definite goal, a definite want. It's going to be one thing. It will outweigh any fears. You've never done it before, or you've tried and failed. Therefore, you believe that you can't do it. So, part of the magic of manifesting what it is you want, following this process, and it works every time. It's just not overnight. The idea here is that it has to be crystal clear. It has to excite the hell out of you. You have to be so compelled to do this. You know you're the one. You don't know how. You don't care. That's how I was in 2007. I had no clue what a mastermind was and had never heard of Think and Grow Rich. And yet, when they dropped $16,000 on me, and I knew that was impossible, I took all of my energy and focused on what it was like, what it was gonna be like to be there. I got the mastermind together before I was there. I received the notebook. I was one page ahead of my clients. One page. I didn't know what I was doing. They knew just a little less. However, my desire, and it was so clear to me. I visualized, what am I going to be like? Wayne Dyer's going to be there, Mary Morris, a lot of big heavy hitters, people from all over the world, and I just love this stuff. It's kind of masculine in a way, but I don't know why. I'm kind of intellectual. I am an intellectual person. The thing that attracts me to women or men, men particularly, but women too, is this one. If we can have it, if we can get into a conversation. So you have a definite purpose. One of the things I'm working on myself is my second book, and this last quarter, this last 12 weeks, I'm going to write part 2. And many of you have bought the book and written it. I've already begun brainstorming and masterminding, and I am so excited. There are so many twists and turns coming. So over the next 12 weeks, my one goal is to write the second story, but it could be nonfiction. You could be an expert on LinkedIn, an expert in dietary needs. You've put in the time, you've studied. So why aren't you helping more people, especially if you're compelled? Now, you may not be ready yet. I get that. Only you can decide. Okay, so once you have a definite purpose, then you can go to the first principle, which is desire, the starting point of all achievement. You are obsessed. When you are compelled and obsessed, think about the Wright brothers, think about the guys who started computers. I can't even think of their names. I see their faces. Jobs and they were obsessed. Thomas Edison spent supposedly 10,000 tries to figure out the incandescent bulb. He was obsessed. Would you do something for 10,000 times? I don't know that I would. I mean, I may have, but I not intentionally. He must have been difficult to live with. So if you're living with someone who is obsessed with a dream, be patient with them because it is the obsession and the cellular vibration that communicates with the universe. And it is the frequency and velocity or amplitude of vibration that you feel in love with, desirous awe that communicates to the universe and said, "This is the frequency I want." And then it will come to you at the same frequency that you hold when you are visualizing it and thinking about it. Desire really, you start to see the world through the prism of that desire. Oh my God, everybody's talking about what you're thinking about. It's kind of like when, if you've ever been pregnant. When I got pregnant, everybody seemed to be pregnant, right? Now, they didn't just pop up on the sidewalk, all these pregnant people, but my perception changed. My focus changed. I was in love with having a baby. And if you're a gentleman, you also probably experienced that same thing. So mine is fabulous. So then desire, that's the first principle of success after you have a definite purpose. Now, using autosuggestion, which you see is after faith, it is the repetition in spaced, repetitive intervals over time that builds faith. So you've got this goal, you're going to give it 12 weeks, do another 12 weeks. It's not to be confused with the large philanthropic goal, nor is it to be confused with the tasks to reach the goal. We do one goal at a time to replicate the process so it's easier the next time. People who do several goals at once usually end up doing nothing, unfortunately, because of this counterintuitiveness. And don't get me wrong, you guys. The reality is we have so many opportunities, don't we? It is phenomenal, the opportunities we have. So squirrels, bright, shiny objects into, oh, this sounds like a good thing. This sounds like a good thing. And we lose focus, and you'll see more about that. But through time, through that 12 weeks is where you can build faith in the idea that you're the one, that it'll make a big impact on everybody else, that it's your thing, and you can have another one later, but right now this is your thing. So through auto suggestion, you build faith, and you'll see how important faith is. Because you don't have faith in yourself for the things that you failed at. You do likely have faith, and we'll get into. Then the next step is imagination. It's the workshop of the mind. It's where visualization becomes the DNA of manifestation. Why? Because every time I thought about going to West Palm Beach and getting my certification and meeting all these people and working with all these famous people, I got excited. Mind is a cellular activity. Consider it's not the brain and it's not an organ. It's cellular. And Bruce Lipton and Richard Brody are two scientists that have actually tracked the proteins in your cells to prove that mind has a vibration. The higher vibration is our natural state, which is love, desire, sex, etc., service, right? So when we do this consistently in spaced intervals over time, every time we visualize the thing we want, our vibration rises again. Communication to the universe. This is where I'm going. This is what and one day I'll share with you that the universal laws that the minute you get the idea, everything is created twice. So the physical manifestation is a done deal once you think. But our job, because we have conscious awareness and we can do this, we have to intentionally bring back up those memories and re-energize ourselves because we get excited. We get goosebumps on our arms. That shows you that mind and your thinking is what causes your results. What do you think about the most? Is what you get. Okay, imagination, there's two kinds. There's creative imagination. That's when you're driving along and you get this wild idea for a new audio or something you've never heard of or video, you've never thought of it before. No one's ever done it. Like to you, it's brand new. That's creative imagination. All ideas are here, and the universe handed that to you. All ideas are here, and they're flowing from energy to us, through us, back into physical form. because only human beings can consciously do. So we are alchemists. I'm an alchemist. I'm like- I learned, taught myself to look for the greatness in others. And your own greatness grows because based on the law of polarity, you have both. You have good things and bad things. We all do. But you'll notice that we very often are focused on what people are doing wrong based on our point of view. Well, therein lies the problem because what we're looking for in others, we already have in ourselves. The more we look for something wrong in other people, "Oh, I hate it when he does that. I hate it when you." So we're reflections of each other. So this, you can purposely, intentionally look for the greatness in other people as much as possible, and it grows your. It's a muscle that grows in direct proportion to its use. And then the second imagination is synthetic. And that's once you get the idea, all your experiences come together and try to put the puzzle piece together, but you don't know how to do it. Now, then we moved to decision. Simple here. If you have a definite purpose when you pulled out, anything that comes up to interrupt you, all you have to do is ask, if I take this on right now, will it take me closer to my goal or away from it? If it's away from it, you say no. For now, that makes it a decision. And then lastly, we did persistence. And without desire and persistence, nothing ever happens. And persistence is like discipline. All right, let me just see if we have new comments here. I've kind of gone on and on. Let me just see. Oh, yeah. I mean, I love this stuff, Gabe. I love this. People come to me, they want to work with me for 12 weeks. Every week, I have a full workbook. All the slides are done. I take you through not only this, but universal law and all the work that we've done over 25 years. It's encapsulated to make you a superhuman. Good morning. Look who's here, my friend Aaron Gibson, such a fine human. All right. So let's go on. Shall we? All right. You saw this, and I'll keep myself small so you can see this. Okay. I don't know if I can make myself even smaller. Ooh, okay. Okay. So I'm going to go over here because I want you to see. Okay. I want you to see this is, we think in pictures. I want you to consider this simple diagram, but don't let its simplicity fool you. I want you to go inside your mind with me. So right here is this is the conscious mind. We're talking, we're present with each other. We might be doing a few other things, right? But we're in the presence. We're thinking. We're consciously aware, and we can respond. The conscious mind receives information through the five senses. Everybody gets actually there's six. Oh well, we'll just have to come up with the sixth one. Anyway, 10 looked good. But basically, through our conscious mind, we receive information. See, hear, smell, taste, and touch. For most of us, or almost everyone. But there's something that distinguishes a genius. And you've got it in you. There's something that distinguishes your genius. And I'll show you how to evolve it. So your conscious mind, it responds, it receives, it can reject. If you don't like this, you can flip to another channel, get up and walk out of the room. You have control over what comes into your conscious mind. And through repetition, it impresses the information into the subconscious, where the subconscious is not thinking. It only receives what repetitively has been offered to it by you on purpose or by default. So if you only watch one TV station and only watch news, this is how people have perfect faith in their candidates because they're purposely, by default, without realizing it's not purposely, by default, the constant information is coming in through those 6 senses, and it fills your conscious mind, but you only have one thought at a time. So it's through the repetition that eventually it will impress that into your subconscious where it lives like the truth. Your results match what you believe. This is where faith is. This is where your habits, all through repetition. But you can't reject this. You can't see that. And it's reaction, it's emotional. Now, it also includes your paradigms, which are clusters of behaviors. It's all like autopilot, right? Or in the what do you call it? Auto, I don't even remember right now what it calls my car. So now here's the problem because you know there has to be a challenge, right? There is a challenge here. The challenge is that only one thought is held in your conscious mind at a time. Only one. So, really quickly, if you'll do this with me, close your eyes and I want you to picture your car. Now, you'll notice that the car comes up on the screen of your mind. You can actually visualize it, walk around it. Oh, I see there's some scratches there from the dog. Up. In fact, one of my cars is the one I take to my daughter's house because she has a dog that likes to jump. So, my new car, I don't drive there. But the old car, I let the dog jump. Right? There is a way. There's a solution that works for everybody. So what happens here is the minute you get an idea that you failed at before or you've never done before, which of these two voices prevails instantly before you even take a breath in? Any one of these 6 fears will be the voice that'll say, "Oh, well, Leslie, you tried something like that before and you failed." The conscious mind isn't even part of the picture. The subconscious is our fears have been with us our whole life, since about 6. When we reach the age of reason is when fears begin. Children don't have it as bad, but we adults have it bad. So take a look at the fear of criticism. Well, I've never done that before, but you certainly remember when you were humiliated in front of class or when you failed over and over again. So you believe, you have perfect faith that you cannot do this. This is your heart of hearts. This is what the ancient Greeks called the subconscious, your heart of hearts. And you would think it would be all these. No. The one thing that resides there is if you believe in God, unequivocally, that's faith. But faith by itself will not stop the 6 fears and all your experiences from coming up. And when you visualize that and you hear that, you have a very low vibration. It's not that high vibration of love. So you can have faith in God, but still be run by your fears. Fear of criticism. I'm not doing that because I humiliated myself. So let me just let someone else do it. The fear of poverty. That was one in 2007 that would have worked for me, right? Because it's fear of not having enough money. Yet on the other side, at that point, you'll see that there are 6 mental muscles that distinguish your average person who gets everything in by their 5 senses. They have 6 spiritual warriors. They are mental muscles and they grow in direct proportion to their use. So the idea when you get an idea is to have strength these muscles in the conscious mind to outwit or outweigh that reaction, that emotional reaction. And then we have the fear of illness. We all had COVID, or we knew about COVID, so that was a real fear. They may not be fearful now. It's false evidence appearing real now, but not to you because it's embedded. It's embedded in your subconscious mind, and it's angry and mean, and it has you looking for the ugliness in people instead of the greatness. Because both are there. It takes practice. Also, the loss of a love is another thing that you could be fear of, or old age. I used to, but I'm not anymore. Now I'm older than I did as a young girl. And then death. Now look on the other side here. So these are your two armies. This is the angel and the devil, the proverbial good and bad. But by seeing this, my friends, you can visualize what's happening. Now, what's going on in your conscious mind when you work with me in this whole business of Think and Grow Rich, principles of success, and universal laws, is that you develop these intellectual faculties to the extent that in many, many cases, when you get an idea you've never done before, you failed at, then it can overrun. But not until we do it enough times for that new belief to take its place over into the subconscious. Right now, all we have is faith in God. You may have some other ones, but let's just say that we all have that. It's not strong enough. But on the other side, when you develop these muscles and you actually do something you never thought you could do before, or you failed, that is perfect faith in your ability and your deservability. New achievement that disproved the old fear takes its place in the subconscious. Now, when you get an idea, at least there are two things you have perfect faith. And so this is do this over and over and over again because you're using conscious awareness, which is our unique gift as humans, to intentionally follow this process, which is, by the way, a hell of a lot. I mean, once you get this, it is so much fun. As soon as you start visualizing, it's already so watch out. If I've told you something that's going to happen, it's already there. So, just briefly, as we're looking at time, do you guys have any questions or anything? Are you loving this? I can't tell on, but just let me know if you're enjoying this so far. And if anything is confusing, right? If anything isn't clear. So we get our information through our five senses, we get ideas from there. And then the six intellectual faculties are perception, imagination, intuition, memory, reason, and will. Focus. And imagination includes curiosity. Oh, everybody thinks that that's a new thing. It's not, right? It's part of imagination. So perception is how you see things, the way you think it should be, but it never stays the same. So you can argue right now about a particular point, hear something, and change your view. I'm so glad you did this. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. And who says beautiful people? Oh, I know who that is. That's Kelly Steineke. I'm pretty sure. Um, I can tell by the little flower. I hope, well, maybe it is. So correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So you got perception. It's always changing. So don't argue with people that your way is the right way and they should do it and give up their standards and values and ideals to adopt yours. You should do it this way. Why should I give up mine? And then my perception is going to change anyway. So it really makes an interesting dialogue. If you can't be right, someone else wrong. Imagination, we talked about that. It's a workshop of the mind. The imagination and the next one, intuition, are how the universe communicates with you. When you go to bed at night with a question on your mind, how often do you wake up in the morning with the answer? This is your closest connection to God. This is how prayer works, actually, because of the high vibration. And all of these negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, they call them, are snoozing. So this is the only safe time God can come in and give you the answers, right? Because otherwise it's a battle. If the subconscious mind was awake while you were sleeping, I wonder what Elizabeth would think about this, because she's um, a therapist. Anyway, so intuition, we all have it. These are all, intuition is not subconscious. It is not gut. Gut is negative primarily. Gut is an emotional reaction based on your fears. And we've been fooling ourselves. Well, follow your gut. No, follow your intuition. Two very different things. Intuition is a feeling, a sensing of something. Ooh, I just know they're going to call. But it's a response. But the subconscious is reactive and automatic and not thinking. It's the first one up at bat. You don't even have a chance. That's why the work on in the conscious mind and mindset is so vital through repetition. Then you have memory, which is absolutely perfect. Oh, it was Kelly. Okay. Just I think that's what you're saying. Maybe not. Okay. Yes. Um, so memory. When we visualize again the thing we want, or we watch it. A good example is, gosh, Aaron and I worked together on a 7.5 minute book trailer for my first fiction, which launched last month. Which I launched last month. Every time I watch it, I am totally there visually. All the wonderful, happy feelings. I get chills everywhere. That's what you want, because the universe says, oh, okay, Leslie wants something at a very high vibration. Let's take a look at the things that she wants and let's send them. I don't know if that's how God talks, but the idea is that your vibration, you remember something, positive or negative, it sends a message to the universe. We're all energy anyway. You've heard this before. So memory is perfect, but we will tell ourselves over and over again, we can't find something, we don't know where it is. It's not true. We have perfect memory. What are we looking for? Are we looking for what we can't do or what is possible? The ability to reason, if you haven't developed this skill, then when you get a new idea and one of the six fears says, oh, that's a bad idea, you were humiliated before. Those two top ones, those are the worst. Criticism, public speaking, and fear poverty, right? Everybody's got that except people that are born into wealth and never hear we can't afford it over and over and over again until we realize we don't have enough money. If you haven't developed this, that when you get a great idea and one of the fears comes up and says, this is a bad idea, Leslie, move on to something else. Reason goes, yeah, right. You can't reason because you haven't developed the ability to reason through these things. And then the last one is your willpower, and your focus. And with all the squirrels around and all the wonderful opportunities and so much happening in our world through so many devices, we've lost our ability to concentrate. And if you go back to the original piece, is that you have to have a very specific, clear goal that you are compelled to complete. That it doesn't matter about the fears. That's when you can outweigh the ideas or the fears voice that says, bad idea. Well, what if they leave you? You're getting pretty old for that, Leslie. Well, you could get sick. Put on your mask, right? So you've got all these voices stopping you, stopping your unique ability that was given to us. But it wasn't just over on a platter. We have work to do. So effectively, the conversation as we end this lesson in the subconscious. You control one thing. That's it. That has 3 parts. What you think about how often you think it and how you feel when you're thinking it. That's it, folks. So this is a phenomenal way to actually use conscious awareness and the gifts that we have. We're the only ones who can take ideas and turn them into physical form. You know, without human beings, there'd be no homes, no cars. I mean, the animals don't do this. Although I have friends who insist that their dogs and cats. But let's look at it this way. The dog may know he's in the room with you, but it doesn't know that's conscious awareness. So let me let's see, how do we do this? Let me see what's next here. Oh yeah. Oh, oh yeah. Real quick, like. Oh, see, I'm in the wrong place now. Let me see if I put myself here. Yeah, yeah. Just so you know, this next 12 weeks, I'm writing the second part of Errata. You will master your dream, whatever it is. If you'd like to write your book and have it, the draft in your hand, using the principles of success and universal laws, you're going through my mindset program, which will waylay your fears and teach you to do it anyway, to do it afraid, to get smarter than your subconscious. Reach out to me and we'll have a conversation. Starts September 23rd. It's an hour each week. It's recorded. There's a full workbook. If that's what you feel like thinking about, Rich, come and study with me because you will be able to apply it. All right. So we're a few minutes over. I hope you have enjoyed this. My intention is that you actually saw something today that you may not have seen before. If you watch it again, please indicate team replay. Feel free to share it. And remember, when you walk through a storm, be sure to hold your head up high. And don't be afraid of the dark. You've got a partner. At the end of the storm, there's always a golden sky and the sweet, simple song of the lark. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I totally appreciate you. Love you. Have a fabulous weekend in the US. We get an extra day off. It's the best. Go and love someone and be kind to others. Look for the greatness in other people. You all find it. Thanks. Oh my goodness, I'm having trouble in the stream. I'm having trouble. Oh, there we go. I think I did it. No. Oh, it's very strange what's happening. I don't know how to end this stream because the ability to end it is not allowing me. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I sure hope this doesn't screw everything up. Let me just try another cursor. I've had this same kind of problem with Restream. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, since I don't know how to end the stream, I'm going to literally remove this tab and see if this does it. So I hope that you've enjoyed everything. And let me just say close. Changes may not have been saved. I'm leaving anyway. Let's see what happens.